Namaste, Madhavan. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you? How are you, Krish?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Just for our audience, could you please introduce yourself as to where are you tuning in from, what do you do, and what's up in life in general?
So, my name is Madhavan. I am currently living in London, and I am a problem solver at heart, I would say.
Oh.
And and yeah. Life is going good. So far, so good.
Currently, what problems are you solving professionally and otherwise? So,
I work for JP Morgan, but I would say my professional background is not in finance, but rather on AI. And I've always been passionate about AI and generally understanding intelligence, like how can we create intelligence and understanding how computers can emulate them, all the way from recognizing face, like from a kid trying to see what is a mother's face versus some other face, just a classification. Those type of things really pulled me into this field. And yeah, I've been solving like real world problems for different companies from Nokia to, yeah, all the way now at JP Morgan. But yeah.
Lovely. I mean, it's very interesting because you're pretty much getting into evolutionary and development psychology in a way. Uh, that's what you're capturing and putting into the machine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there are different methodologies that you could potentially try to use that into developing intelligence, even if it means simply identifying if an image is a cat or a dog. Uh, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the techniques are. I would say I've come to the realization that all that it matters is the final value that an end user would get from building such systems. Like, what is the final impact of a user is what that needs to be, really taken into account.
How are you enjoying JP Morgan differently? In terms of vertical, it's a finance vertical compared to the previous ones, technical ones. Any particular aspects that you enjoy more or less?
I would say I'm quite neutral. At the end of the day, there's always a business problem, business use case that you'd want to solve or try to optimize for or reduce cost. Being agnostic helps you really give a different perspective than if you were only on a financial, let's say, if your entire background was always finance, you would have a set of crystallized perspective on how things needs to be done. I'm sure it's useful, but I am someone who is a chameleon, so I tend to change and have different perspective as I go to different fields.
Right,
And
right. So,
I've used to really, develop really molds into different use cases as well with AI.
yeah, very interesting. And curiously, I mean, out of my own curiosity, has your problem solving skills outside of your work,
Hmm.
can be personal, can be hobby, can be anything else, giving back to society, volunteering, um, any particular instances that has helped at work as well, how that has contributed uh, into your work.
Yeah. So I would say having a healthy mindset with respect to how you have positive habits in terms of like doing physical activities. Like I love to run. I do 5K quite often. Well, not in summertime in London. I mean, sorry, not winter time in London, but usually in summer. It really, I would say, gives some sort of peace in your mind to have a set of, how do I put this? I don't know if you've done like proper like 5K run or 10K or I don't know. But usually you have this mindset when you run, like, oh, you come up with all the excuses in your mind that said, oh, my legs are hurting, oh, you're far away from home, or okay, what have I cooked? Well, you'll come up with all the reasons in the world to stop running. And then it's just a tactic that you'll realize, okay, you just have to listen to this inner voice, and just like a baby that just cries, you just have to let it out of its system and then still have to go through the process, which is like run, run, run. That's all matters. So those type of exercises, I find it to be really helpful, with which really bleeds into different aspects of your life as well. So building systems that really brings the best out of you. Stacking habits. I'm sure you know atomic habits. The systems that they suggest is really something that I found to be really useful, not just in work but also in like real world in your personal life as well. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Incidentally, I used to run the park runs. So
Workouts, is it? Me too.
yeah,
Nice, nice, nice.
particularly the 5Ks, but sometimes not necessarily the 5Ks. I would just volunteer also. But
Mm-hmm,
park runs is one of the best things that I found when I used to live and around London as well. I used to
mm-hmm.
love Victoria's and so many parks. Wonderful.
Nice, nice.
Yes, I've done 5, 10, 15, and
Wow.
21. I gifted myself 21 on my birthday. Well, I think I was in Stratford. Yeah, somewhere, or Colchester. I'm not sure. I think I was in Colchester. Uh,
Okay.
yes, I used to run there. Parkrun is amazing. I still have the barcode. I still get messages from them. Lovely. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you, to be honest. Yeah, I've done like I think 10 is max I've done. But yeah, during COVID and everything, it's a long.
Yeah,
So
and I used to enjoy working. I mean, and working out and running during the winter. So
mm,
somehow winter is my favorite for activity. Just,
interesting.
yeah. So moving on, basically, I just wanted to ask you about the positive habits that has helped you in your personal and professional life. So running is what you do. That's great. Any other habits, rituals that you've stacked, or it's individual that you can that you always draw strength from that has helped you, be successful getting into JP Morgan after studying there, and I'm sure, as someone who's moved from India and then studying and getting a job and then performing well, I'm sure some of these habits would have helped you. Could you name some of those habits, please?
Uh, I would say more than like specific habits, because it doesn't. It might not translate to an audience where someone who likes to read versus not, like maybe if you have a habit that always involves reading books more often than not. Some people don't. I used to be the person who don't used to read a lot of books, but now I've started to pick it up. But I would say generally habits that is consistent is more important. More than anything, the consistency is important. So even if it means getting up on time that you've set, and doing yoga and doing exercises, whatever that you set out to do, and you follow through on it, and being consistent is more important than what you actually do. But more often than not, what you do consistently defines you in the long run. And the important thing, again, I bring the conversation back to the systems thinking, where first understand where you are, observe the environment that you're in, because the environment dictates your behavior. Second is see the metrics that you would measure your progress towards a goal that you set. And third is act, have bias towards action, and see how the actions translates to the metrics that you are measuring. And those
So,
three things applies across professional, personal life.
so, in just to make it simpler for the audience, what are the habits that you are applying, doing? Well, one, you said you're, a regular reader, but you're catching up. One is you're running regularly the 5Ks. What are the other habits that you're doing, and how that has helped? So, if you could just name the habit and how it has helped, that would be great.
Okay. So here's one habit that I do is that, like, right after work, when I come back, I have this uh, habit to just come in, wash my dishes, and just prepare my dinner. So around 6, I come in. It would be as simple as that, because I know if I start to relax and I start to work on something else, I will just go with the flow, and I'll forget about, oh my God, I need to cook, and then I need to think about dinner. So that type of friction I try to avoid. So any action that is frictionless, as soon as you come, it's part of a habit that you just keep doing it. So it helps my tummy to be like full. And then at the end of the day, I'll be like, okay, I have enough energy to work on something that I'm passionate about, or something else, and or even exercise. then you're like, okay, I've had enough energy in my system to work on the next thing. It's a small thing, but if you break that cycle, you'll have less energy to do for the rest of the day, and then I suppose you just doom scroll in social media. But yeah.
And can you name a few others? Like, you come, you have your dinner, you cook, wash the dishes, cook,
Yeah.
and how about your sleep cycle? How about your reading habits? How about your work?
Sleep cycle. I'm a really good sleeper, I would say, and I need my solid 8 hour, even 9 hours of sleep. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad, but without which I can't function, to be honest. So I sleep at 10:30 and then get up at 6:30. That's as simple as that.
How do you
Uh,
ensure that you get to sleep consistently at 10:30 and wake up at 6:30? What are the things that you're doing to ensure that that happens?
um, I mean, with Apple Watches, you have like reminders that says, as simple as that. It says that, okay, here's the time. It just vibrates on your fist, and that says, okay, it's time for you to wind up. Just have a calendar reminder that, okay, this is the time you need to sleep, and this is the time. Alarm, set an alarm at that time, and with the watch, actually, it gives you a vibration that more than a sound that just beeps on your ear. I find the vibration to be like someone just waking you up by tapping you. uh, yeah, I cook, I wash my dishes, eat. That'll be around like 7:30, 8. Uh, and I would, just catch up on things because you know how 9 to 5 is. So you wouldn't have time for anything else. So just catch up on life, catch up on family, I suppose. Uh, what else? I do spend some time to learn. So I explicitly set an hour or two to learn things that I'm passionate about, which might not necessarily link to the work related things, but rather like something totally different, new technology, new tooling, new concepts, new ideas. Um, that would take me some time, and then there'll be enough like energy drained from that itself. I would say around say an hour or two, so around 8 to 9, or yeah, 9:30, and then yeah, I suppose I do doom scroll sometime. I'm going to be honest here. But the best way I think I could avoid that is just uninstall all the apps that just drains your time, and yeah, that's that. Okay, one thing is to avoid distractions versus the sleeping part of it. I think the sleeping part of it is much easier for me, regardless of the distraction part, simply because I'm a really good sleeper, regardless of anything. Like, even if there's an earthquake, I will sleep through it. At least this is what is just ingrained in me. Unfortunately, I cannot uh, find any particular habit that helps that me. It's just something a part of me always, I would say. And secondly, I personally tend to uninstall them so that I don't have this knee-jerk reaction when you're bored to click on that app. Rather, if someone sends it through me, open it on your big screen, or I don't know. Don't use it. Don't make it convenient to open it from your phone. Always have this mindful tendency to open it from, I don't know, from a laptop or something, so that from a desktop environment, it's not that addictive, or there's enough friction for you to not scroll, but rather you have to press, key down, or whatever it is. You find there'll be a lot of frictions, and you wouldn't have that level of addiction, I would say. It's usually Instagram and YouTube, but then yeah, I've recently uninstalled it to realize that okay, just looking at the analytics of it, just to see how many hours you have spent on specific apps, and then you look at the goals that you set, it doesn't match up. The time that you spend and the goal that you set doesn't match up. So you have to take drastic actions to ensure that there's friction for you to spend time on those platforms. I'm someone who likes to take my sweet time to get ready and prepare. I don't want to rush and go to work and whatnot. So I tend to see like, okay, what is the cost of me watching through this video versus, going to sleep right now? A simple thing is like, okay, me picturing myself hurrying to work really puts me off in whatever I do. I was like, okay, cool. I need to respect my body. So I was like, okay, cool, shut it down. I do sleep, but then as I said, I'm a good sleeper, so it's like I go into deep sleep quite quickly. I get up at 6:30. I of course unwind. So I do take my sweet time to unwind, take my bath and prepare something for breakfast. Eat for some time. This would take around 7:38, I would say, and then around 8:30, if I start, I'll be reaching to work at 9. So yeah, it's a set schedule. So as soon as I get up, I spend some time to unwind, and then from even if it's 15 minutes, I find it to be like 6:45 to 7. I found it before going to take bath. I find it to be like, you're awakened. I feel taking deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling, just works for me. It puts you in a different state of mind. Like I could feel some sort of sensations in my body that says, okay, I'm being mindful of the sensory parts of my body, which I wouldn't usually be paying attention to.
What do you do to keep healthy and be productive at work?
Most of the value that you get out of the work is done on some 20% of your work, and remaining 80 doesn't give you the uh, actual impact that this 20% would. Like, so 20% will give you the 80% of your impact than the remaining 80%. So identifying them and prioritizing them to work at the beginning of the day, when you have the energy, when you have the full attention that you could give. But as the days progress, you will do have to, you know, spend time to interact, network, attend meetings. At the end of the day, when you do have all the tasks that you want to work on, before you go, prioritize them so that the next day when you come in, you know what to work on. You don't have to think about what you need to work on when you come in. As simple as that.
What are some of the habits or precautions that you do that you don't distracted? You know, the emails and the pings and the coffee breaks and the smoke breaks or what have you.
Mhm.
The cooler, the water cooler conversations. How do you stay focused and get it done?
So, so again, the focus part is where when most people are not there at the office. So when you come in early and then when you do your work, that's where you do your focused work. But I would say uh, the part where the water cooler talks and then networking and then going for coffee breaks and whatnot, I think that's a healthy amount of it is really needed, because when you hyper focus on one thing and you think that's the problem and you work on solving it, only to realize down the line, the problem has shifted, the objective has shifted, and then simply because you were not aware of it, when you only when you speak to other people with different perspectives, you would know that. So I would say a healthy balance is needed. uh,
How do you schedule that balance?
so I've tried different techniques like Pomodoro, so 20-25 minutes, solid focus, and then 5 minutes of break. The problem, at least with me, is that I don't tend to take the breaks. I tend to take more focused time. So I'm someone who's just fine with taking a hyper focused time slot, just working solely on one thing. So even if it means 9 to 11, I'm absolutely fine spending 2 hours of my
Got it.
100% of my attention. And usually around, I try to have a early lunch, so 11:30, 12 is when I have. So it's like, I think it's a good enough break to before you go to lunch to start, just taking some walks, because you don't want to sit in a chair for more than 2 hours. Usually, like every hour, you need to take your break. So I tend to like do take those breaks just to go to the cooler, get some water, but take the long way out so that you have the steps in as well. After lunch, it's mostly, a little bit chill, I would say, because you do have to, take your coffee breaks with your colleagues, um, or friends, how you define that. But and then from that point onwards, you're like, okay, this is what I've achieved so far. Uh, am I closer to my goal? Okay, if not, what needs to be done? What and prioritize for the next day. As simple as that.
So what happens between 1 to 5? Is it usually socializing, catching up with friends, and
So it's a bit
practicing?
reactive. I would say it will be more reactive depending on who's available, when they are available. But usually that's when the New York time would kick in as well. So you'll have to interact with people from New York timeline. So that's where most of the chatters and emails come through.
So basically, your strategy is to get into your workplace early so that you can focus on the brain work, intensive executive from nine, execute from 9 to 11, and you take
Mhm.
a break 2 hours. You zone in and get things done. 11:30 go early lunch. You skip the crowd, and then you do the operations with. By the way, I talk exactly this in my book. This is how I decide my days also. Deciding the days 9 to 1 is when I am super productive. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I do the early morning, whatever you mentioned that I do. 9 to
Mhm.
11 is my productive time. I don't work more than 4 hours. 1 to 5 is for all the operations. Five, I wind down and detox, and by 9 p.m. out. So pretty much, I get what you do. But just to summarize for the audience, and it's interesting that you're following what I had mentioned in the book and what I follow as well.
Yeah, I have a very strict principle: no work at home. Once you leave office, that's that. You don't want to bring your work to your sanctuary where you're going to actually have your own time. I'm very strict on that. So I would say prioritize at work what you need to do for the next day. Once the prioritization is done, you call the day off. That's it.
And that's what you do typically towards the last half an hour,
Yeah.
irrespective of when you leave. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
How is your schedule different on weekends?
I would say weekends are when you actually get to do these type of activities like grocery shopping, cleaning your house, uh, and some physical activities like badminton or any sports. I would say on weekends mostly it is just detoxing, relaxing, and doing some physical activities like swimming or badminton that really like energy. I would say doing physical activity really like reboots your system so that okay, this is where you get to really focus on your physical health. For Saturday Sundays usually I don't plan things out. This is where I tend to do the, as I said, the admin related of life. So house chores, cleaning things up, batch cooking, so that you can actually have food when you throughout the weeks as well. A little bit time for yourself, relaxing, physical activities, badminton, swimming, whatever it is. This doing this itself, I would say, is it's a good chunk of the day would be gone, and maybe once in a while you do tend to prioritize going out, so long drives, so that's to have some sort of break in the routine, because the last thing you want to do is just do all these admin related work and then go back to work and do your work. You need to have something in life other than a set routine, right? So you do have to break them once in a while. To be honest, I've not been that um, proactive, I would say, in networking outside of uh, 9 to 5, because I've always had my own set of close knit people that I talk to who are in the same wavelength as mine. So it's uh, yeah, it depends, right? It depends on if you're an extrovert or an introvert. I tend to be both at times. So I'm an introvert and I get to be an extrovert when I want to be.
Could you tell me some of the bad habits that you've had, some of the not so great habits, and then how have you overcome them? If you have overcome, what specific measures did you take? Or if you have them, why do you still have them?
For instance, I have sweet tooth. Like I love to eat sweets. But I just don't have that self control to stop unless if it's not within my vicinity.
Mm.
So like if I have a chocolate, I just munch on them all day every day, to a point where I've decided, okay, this is not going to work out for me. I'm not going to take one at a time. So I'm going to just go cold turkey on it. So I don't eat it at all. So I actively avoid going to the aisles where there's chocolates on the grocery section. Um, yeah, that's me. So anything that I tend to be hyper addictive to, like even coffee. I love coffee. Wherein there was a point in time where I could not live without coffee, but I've changed to a point where I don't have coffee even a single day, simply because I know the extent it would lead me to, because I'm really, really addictive. So I avoid them at all costs.
Oh, wait, Madhavan, you quit coffee as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So unless it's absolutely needed, when I'm like super brain drained and it's like it's a really tense environment, only then I
That's
have coffee
amazing.
to
Awesome.
be functional. If not, I just go. I know there's something I love, similar to chocolate. I keep it at arm's length. Like, okay, I know I love you, but I need to be functional without you. Only when I really, really need you, I'm going to have you. So that's, I would say I don't know if it's a bad habit or not. I suppose it is. Because, yeah, I just don't have the self regulation to have it at a constant, uh, acceptable dose, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. So is that one of the other reasons why you avoid the crowd in cafeteria? You go and go to your isolated place, or go in so you don't see the because coffee smell. How do you avoid the triggers? I'm trying to understand. So you don't keep coffee at home. You don't have the mocha pot. You don't have
No,
anything.
there's no sugar, there's no coffee. I absolutely don't have it in my house, period.
How do you avoid that at the workplace?
So when you do go to the cafeteria, so there's a strategic path that you need to take so that you don't get the coffee smell. And as of course, if more people are in, it's going to be more machines and there'll be more smells. So like, okay, no, let me go in early. Get in where there's less attention that is going to be pulled, that'll pull me in. Uh,
But then, any other habits that you kind of said no to, or you killed some other bad habits? These are fantastic, man. I'm really appreciative.
Also, gaming, I would say. Again, I think the theme is that I'm addictive. So anything that is addictive, I tend to go way too in to a point where it's dysfunctional to everything that I've prioritized. So I do have to recognize what I'm addictive to and kill them off. But it's
Right.
not as simple as that, because I do have to go through that journey to know that I'm addictive. So if it means gaming, I have to go through that process and then realize, oh no, I've come way too far. This is not where I want to be. And then it's like, okay, switch, kill. So I just go full cold turkey on it. Rather than alarm, I used to have like a game notification that pulls me in early in the morning that says, okay, I need to press certain buttons at that time. If not, scarcity, whatever, however they build those things. So it's good in a way because I got up early and then spend that 5 or 10 minutes to get that thing done. But then I realized, no, that's not going to, it's not healthy. Uh, but I would say for anyone who's listening, rather than taking it, take what I'm saying for face value. Everyone has their own process in place.
Oh,
Everyone has their own set of ticks that works for them. So go with the flow, see how things work out for you. If it doesn't, switch, try again. Is what I would say.
apart from this, what you said, is there any other tips or tricks or hacks or general message apart from what you mentioned to the general audience? Not technical, but some of the things that steps or actions or strategies or new experience. I'm addicted too. I can only quit. I cannot do anything halfway, whether it is working or writing a book. I'll just go all in. I can't do five things at a time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Being hyper focused, I think it's uh, yeah. I don't know. It's a blessing and a curse in disguise. So I would say you can find me on LinkedIn, and I do have a blog post that I have. So blogging is something is a bit interesting because I want it to be something that is a byproduct of what I learn, rather than something that I explicitly do. So if it's as simple as I built a system that basically translates my notes into a blog post, wherein if I were to learn something, I just put on my thoughts on it, and it's something that's there for me to revisit when I am lost. So it's like, okay, what are my current thought process when I'm learning specific topics? And if someone were to go through the same like journey of learning, what are some snapshots that they should know to crystallize this understanding, even if it means 2 years or 10 years from now when they look back, those notes would be as there's no fluff, there's no magic words, just key points that just drives home the nugget of that concepts, and that would be automatically translated to a blog post through the system that I built, and I don't have to think about it. That's the best part, which is to have systems that does the job for you, automate the process as much as you can, so that it's actually useful for you. And it's part of, I would say, I do love to teach, and though I don't get to exercise it as often as I would like to, this is a part of me that says, hey, this is an artifact that I've learned that I want people to know. um, and maybe I should work a little bit more on that front these days with content creation. I don't think a blog post is going to cut it. But yeah, that's my current stance.
Lovely, brilliant, so much. I mean, I absolutely love how you systematic. I mean, basically automated the summary of what you've learned in not only for yourself but also the public, because that's really the mindset of a teacher. I mean, to share the learning, learn and share. And I love you for that. Thank you so much for your time, and absolutely a brilliant conversation as usual. Thank you once again, Madhavan.
Thank you, Krish. Thank you.